Evolution is the cornerstone of the Pokemon universe. Pokemon get promised better stats, new abilities, and oftentimes a dramatic change in appearance. For most Pokemon, evolution is strictly always good. However, there are situations where evolution doesn't always lead to a better outcome competitively. Sometimes in competition, you'd rather your Pokemon be unevolved. There are some interesting Pokemon we'll talk about later, but let's get the straightforward Pokemon out of the way first. But before that, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by the Red Magic 9S Pro, a flagship phone built specifically for mobile gaming. And I've had the opportunity to test the phone myself. A lot of its features are designed around maximizing gaming performance. The phone runs on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, it has its own cooling system, great battery life, and a full display with a refresh rate of 120Hz too. There's high quality speakers and an inbuilt linear motor for vibrations too. The performance really impressed me, it's powerful and stays cool at the same time. But there's a lot of subtle things too. The response rate is so fast that you can quickly react to in-game events. The large screen increases the touch area for triggers, and the sensitivity is high enough to perform precise in-game actions. You can tell that their design decisions are very thoughtful when it comes to optimizing for playing games. And that's only the hardware. There's a ton of neat stuff they do at the software end too. When you flick the switch on the side of your phone, you enter the gaming mode, which lets you navigate and customize different games really easily. Notifications won't interrupt your game when you're playing, and you can easily set up recording and layouts of the game. And obviously beyond that, it does everything you could want from your smartphone to do day-to-day tasks. If you're interested in a flagship smartphone optimized for mobile gaming, I recommend the Red Magic 9S Pro, the newest addition to their lineup. It drops on July 31st, 2024, and you can use my link in the description to get access to it. Now back to the video. The first genre of Pokemon are Pokemon that take advantage of Eviolite, an item that increases your defense and special defense by 1.5 times, which is a significant modifier. But even that has some nuance to the discussion. If Eviolite was so amazingly good, then every non-evolved Pokemon would be better. But that's not true, not even amongst Pokemon that have the same type. Kingambit is significantly better than Eviolite Bisharp. Archaludon is significantly better than Eviolite Duraludon. The Eviolite form of a Pokemon is only better in one very specific circumstance. Think about the trade-offs between the two ideas. The Eviolite Pokemon often has a better defense and special defense stat, however the fully evolved Pokemon has better offensive stats, a better HP stat, and the freedom to hold an item. Also, fully evolved Pokemon may have a better new typing or get access to new moves. In most cases, these factors combine to be more important than merely having a high defense stat. After all, a Pokemon is more than just one stat. The exception, however, are Pokemon that are purely used for support and don't have a noticeably different move pool or typing. If a Pokemon's only goal is support, then in that context, you'd rather have the Eviolite. The best example is Chansey before Generation 8. Chansey is Blissey but with better defenses and worse offenses. But who cares about having worse offenses? Chansey's only job is to be a defensive wall. Chansey takes less damage from every attack and can use moves like Toxic and Recover to beat Pokemon 1v1. You're not attacking anyway, so you're better off with more defense. However, this did change in Generation 8 with the addition of heavy-duty boots. Even though Chansey is strictly better defensively, the ability to be immune to hazards like Stealth Rock is considered to be so valuable that Blissey's access to an item slot made it better than Chansey. But still, Chansey was superior in the pre-heavy-duty boots era. The next examples are Magmar and Electabuzz. Let me be clear, in single battles, Magmortar and Electivire are definitely better, but not in double battles. These Pokemon get a very valuable move for double battles called Follow Me. Follow Me is a redirection move, which means a move targeting a partner Pokemon gets redirected into the user. Follow Me is both an amazing support move and also very rare. Very few Pokemon get the move, and that means any Follow Me Pokemon is worth considering for a team. In double battles, Magmar gets used purely as a support Pokemon, using moves like Follow Me and a Helping Hand. Magmar's goal is to stay on the field as much as possible, helping its teammate. In that context, defense is the most important priority, so it makes sense that Eviolite Magmar is more valuable than Magmortar. It's the same thing for Electabuzz and Electivire. Similarly, we have Dusclops, who is terrible in single battles, but better than Dusknoir in double battles. Dusclops is the ultimate support Pokemon, but not with Follow Me. Instead, it focuses on Trick Room. Dusclops' claim to fame is that it's so tanky that it can often guarantee to use Trick Room without feigning. If your goal is to tank every possible hit, then Eviolite Dusclops is more valuable than Dusknoir. Before we talk about the next genre of unevolved Pokemon that are better, let's take a detour to talk about Mega Evolutions because they're kinda similar. Sometimes a Pokemon gets worse when they Mega Evolve. First is Mega Slowbro, who's a Pokemon that doesn't get strictly worse, just different, and oftentimes being different isn't enough to justify itself. Regular Slowbro gets used about twice as often as Mega Slowbro. Slowbro is a great tanky Pokemon who can use Regenerator to switch into powerful attacks and then switch out and heal. Mega Slowbro loses that valuable ability and instead gets better stats and shell armor, which means it can't get critical hit. With Mega Slowbro's much higher defense stat, it takes on more offensive Pokemon and it makes its Calm Mind moveset very deadly. You can create a sweeper Pokemon who can never be critical hit. The most common strategy with Mega Slowbro is to use the regular Slowbro as a switch-in the early game and delay the Mega Evolution as much as possible until you're confident you won't be switching around as much. The strategy is good, but there are problems. Slowbro is already independently a good Pokemon. Why make a trade-off on your Mega Pokemon to begin with? You only get one Mega Pokemon per game. Why not use your Mega Stone on a Pokemon that's good all game and not on a Pokemon that's actually a liability in the early game? In practice, you actually avoid Mega Evolving, which is pretty counterintuitive. It's not strictly worse, but Mega Slowbro doesn't have Regenerator and that limits it compared to its base form. The next Mega Pokemon is the infamous Mega Garchomp. Mega Garchomp gains a massive 100 base stat compared to its base form, but it's actually not that great. For one, Mega Garchomp actually loses speed compared to regular Garchomp. This is particularly notable because base 100 is a very crowded speed tier. Garchomp was good because it conveniently outspeed that with its base 102, but Mega Garchomp on the other hand is now at a disadvantage. That's an even worse problem because Garchomp didn't get Scale Shot to boost its speed until Generation 8, and Mega Garchomp was removed by then. On top of that, Garchomp loses Rough Skin, an ability that is generally good, and gets replaced by Sand Force, which is more situational. Mega Garchomp is only good on a sand team. The attack difference of Mega Garchomp is noticeable, but that power can be simulated by giving Garchomp a held item like Life Orb. Mega Garchomp is not noticeably advantageous versus regular Garchomp, and in fact has a noticeable drawback because of its lower speed. You could argue that Mega Garchomp is literally worse than Garchomp, and when you add the opportunity cost of only getting one Mega on your team, sadly nobody is going to pick Mega Garchomp. But let's get back to the actual unevolved Pokemon. While Clefable is one of the best Pokemon of all time in single battles, in double battles, Clefairy is better than Clefable. Clefairy's main job is to be a supporting Pokemon with Follow Me, Helping Hand, and a wide variety of supporting moves. As a pure support Pokemon, Eviolite is definitely important, similar to Magmar and Electabuzz. But also, Clefairy has the ability Friend Guard, but loses that ability when it evolves into Clefable. Friend Guard is massive for a supporting Pokemon because it reduces the amount of damage that your partner Pokemon takes. In fact, one of the most powerful cores in Pokemon right now is Clefairy plus Calyrex Shadow. Clefairy helps out Calyrex as Calyrex goes for a deadly combination of Nasty Plot and Astral Barrage. Similarly, in double battles, Murkrow is better than Honchkrow. That's because Murkrow has the ability Prankster, but loses that ability when it evolves into Honchkrow. Prankster is an elite supporting ability in double battles because Prankster Tailwind lets you take control of the speed metagame. Honchkrow may have better attacking stat, but that pales in comparison to the sheer value of Prankster Tailwind. At the heat of Murkrow's popularity in early 2023, it was also using Prankster Haze to stop the famous Dondozo plus Tatsugiri combination. That's something Honchkrow could not do. Honchkrow is frankly a mediocre attacker, and the Pokemon world has enough of those Pokemon. But what it doesn't have as many are elite Prankster support Pokemon, and that catapulted Murkrow into the limelight. And something else that was catapulted into the limelight was Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is the most interesting Pokemon on the list because it represents a very different role compared to its full evolution, Porygon Z. Porygon Z is a definite glass cannon. It's incredibly powerful but also incredibly frail. It actually has less defense than its pre-evolution. Meanwhile, Porygon 2 is not only better defensively, but also has Eviolite on top of that. Which one is more valuable depends on the context of the metagame. But right now in double battles, we're seeing Porygon 2 be extremely useful as a Trick Room Pokemon, leveraging its bulk while also having access to the move Recover. Meanwhile, Porygon 2 struggles because just like Honchkrow, Powerful Attacker is a dime a dozen, and there are much better Pokemon who can do that. On the other hand, elite Trick Room specialists are tough to find. But before the last Pokemon, I have a couple of honorable mentions. Pikachu can hold the Light Ball item, doubling its attack and special attack. That makes it considerably stronger than Raichu. However, strength isn't everything and Pikachu is a one-trick pony. Raichu is considered to be better overall because of its higher speed, defenses, and utility option. Magneton is sometimes considered better than Magnezone because the reason is that Magneton is actually faster. The Magneton line's main goal is to use Magnet Pull to trap Steel-type Pokemon. But after you do that, you probably want some more value out of it. Choice Scarf Magneton, unlike Choice Scarf Magnezone, is fast enough to outspeed a lot more Pokemon and it gives you roll compression. You can fit your Scarfer and Trapper into one team slot. However, in most situations, the better stats of Magnezone are a better option. But finally, we have Vigoroth and Slacking. Slacking is tremendous, one of the statistically best non-legendary Pokemon ever. However, it is completely crippled by Truant. Truant is a truly punishing ability because when you're not making a move, you're giving a free turn to the opponent to do whatever they want. Now in a game versus an AI, that doesn't matter, but when you're playing another human being, they will take advantage of that and that can be parlayed into dangerous situations. Time is too valuable of a resource to be giving up that freely. Vigoroth and Slacking are both pretty terrible, but Vigoroth has had moments where it's shined. It got banned from Generation 6 PU, the 5th tier, because of its bulk up slack off moveset. It could sweep an entire team at a power level that low. Slacking's weaknesses can be mitigated with the right team support, but Vigoroth has had more success overall as a Pokemon. These are Pokemon that get worse when they evolve competitively in the context what I'm talking about. Did I forget any? Let me know down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It helps me out a lot and is free to do. We're on the road to 200k subscribers and I'd appreciate it if you help